Hey everybody, so this is take two. I got interrupted. There's company here and they're making faces and it just didn't work. So, anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about is Gary Young, his book that his wife wrote and people helped her, and loaded with pictures, and it's his life story on being the world leader in essential oils and his seed to seal process. He has an amazing story. He was in a logging accident. His dream was to have his own horse ranch and logging business, and so he began that. And when he was 18, went to Canada, and he got the last bit of property in Canada with 320 acres, 30 miles of wilderness. It was in the British Columbia. Where is it? I have the Last Homestead Act in the Caribou District. But then when he was 24, he had a logging accident. A tree split. When it was cut, it sheared off and hit him in the head. And the injuries that he suffered are incredible, that he even survived, that he's alive. Ooh, my hair is sticking up with this wind. Anyway, so at 24 years of age, on February 8th, 1973, this is what he suffered from that tree splitting off and falling. 3 open skull fractures, a ruptured spinal cord in 3 places that was classified as an incomplete break, 11 ruptured discs, 16 broken and or crushed vertebrae, a broken pelvis, the right scapula broken in 9 pieces, a severed brachial plexus, and 19 broken bones, which included all of the ribs on his right side and several on the left. He was on 13 drugs. 3 times he tried to commit suicide, and the 3rd time was by not eating. He drank water and lemon juice for 253 days, and then one day he got movement in his big toe. And the doctor said it was a unexplained medical phenomena that they suspected because of his fasting, his body did not get the needed nutrients necessary to manufacture scar tissue, enabling some nerve endings to reroute and reconnect, which was the beginning of many years of pain in his struggle to walk again. And then he decided, he can't go back to logging and farming, so he has to find something else to do. So he was trying to find different ways of healing. So he attended a community college, went to a massage school, he ran his own health food store, and he grew in his knowledge of herbs and natural healing. His amazing road to recovery brought attention from many people who wanted to help. When he eventually got home from the hospital, he found out that his family was on welfare, and he was like, oh, no way, my family is not going to be on welfare. I will do anything. Take it back. We're not going to be on welfare. So he was painting. He painted very well, and so he did paintings, went to town, sold them, got some business from it. He painted murals in doctors and lawyers' offices, but the town was small, so all that, that income quickly disappeared. So then he found a job listing in the paper for a truck driver to haul chips. So a friend took him to town, and he told the sorry, something just fell off my neighbor's house. Anyway, he told the owner what he wanted, because he was in a wheelchair. So the owner was like, you're right, you're gonna drive a truck. He told him that if he equipped the truck with hand controls, he could drive it. So the owner, with a dubious look, he pointed to a Mack day cab tractor in the yard and told him that if he could drive it over to a semi-chip trailer, hook it up, and drive it back to the office, he would talk about the job. Well, Gary did this, but it took him about an hour, because he had to get himself up into the truck, pull up his wheelchair, lower the wheelchair, get back down into the wheelchair, go over and hook it up, and get back in, start the engine, just all this back and forth, up and down, with a wheelchair. But it took him an hour to do it, but he did it. So as he was wheeling himself back to the owner's office, the owner came out to meet him and with tears in his eyes told him that he had the job. Come on, people. If he could do this and all the things that he had wrong, like, he had every reason to say, oh no, I'll take the welfare, I'll be on disability and ride the system for years on end. Like, No, he didn't do that. And now, I shouldn't say now, because this was May 29th of 2013. This is MRI of his spine. And it shows disc 11's rupture, vertebrae forcing bone through the marrow, a hole in the vertebrae, 45% crushed, 50% crushed, discs protruding into the spinal column. Small, faint, gray, black hair-like lines are fractures, cracks, and breaks in the vertebrae. There's another crack. Like, the fact that he can walk is amazing. It's amazing. It's a miracle. And miracles only come from God. And all he's doing after all of this, wow. And I would love to meet him. I can't wait to go to Utah for convention in June and visit the lavender farm, because we are allowed to visit the farms, help with the planting, the harvesting, the weeding, because they don't put chemicals on their crops, so they actually pull their weeds by hand. But from the very beginning, it shows members being on the farms, helping to actually cut with the scissors the crops when it was time to harvest them, and pulling weeds, and just this is an amazing story. I highly suggest, I highly recommend, if you are a member, a Young Living member, you've got to get this book. You've got to read this story. I mean, it's a picture story. There are so many pictures. Like, there's not a whole lot of reading. It's pictures, pictures, pictures. And what he did, and how the distilling, how he started. His first distillery pot was 2 stock pots that he welded together. Like, he really is amazing. And I'm learning a lot, and I'm really loving it, and I think you should check it out.